My name is Gary Mendel, and this is my son, Brian. And this afternoon, I'd like to tell you a story of two boys who were growing up in Easton, Connecticut. It's a small town where I was raising my family. The year is 2004, and both boys were entering high school. The first,
Mikey, was diagnosed with cancer. As you'd expect, his family was devastated. However, they were easily able to access the highest quality medical care, all based on science, proven research. Mikey's parents told their friends about what Mikey was struggling with, and our entire community rallied behind Mikey and his family.
Parents came to their home with cooked meals, drove carpools. Children in our elementary school held bake sales on the weekends to raise money for Mikey and his new charity. And the whole time Mikey was sick, he received all the love and compassion that anyone with a disease could ever dream of. Well, two streets away, my son Brian was
also struggling with the disease. But for Brian and our family, it was so different. We looked for high-quality medical care for our son,
but we couldn't find any that was based on scientific research, as hard as we looked. We were embarrassed to tell our friends about Brian's problem. And our community didn't rally behind our family. No one called to cook meals, drive carpools, no bake sales. And frankly, I didn't want to ask for help. I felt like I was a failure as a father and a failure of my community. The disease my son struggled with was addiction.
And my son Brian struggled valiantly for almost 10 years. But tragically, he lost his life at the age of 25.
I've had the experience that it's every parent's worst nightmare. I buried my son. After my son's death, I was haunted. What could I do to spare another family of this tragedy?
and even more tragic, it wasn't just addiction that took my son's life. It was the feeling of shame that he felt about himself every morning when he opened his eyes. A feeling like an outcast, a disappointment that caused him to wake up that morning.
And the history on his computer shows he started researching suicide notes. The first he researched was Kurt Cobain's. And then he wrote a note of his own. He lit a candle, and he took his life, alone.
I wish I could tell you that my anguish has dulled in time, but it doesn't.
But it hasn't.
It intensifies with me, knowing that my son died of a disease that is preventable and we don't prevent, that is treatable but we don't treat, that is undeniable and we continually deny.
And ever since that day, I've continually asked myself the same question.
Single question. If both boys had a disease,
why are these stories so vastly different?